Before you change one pillow, one lamp, or one wall in your house, listen closely because one color has been praised for years as classy, clean, modern, and expensive, while quietly draining warmth from the very place that is supposed to protect your peace. It sits in millions of homes. It looks safe. It looks elegant. But according to ancient Jewish mystical teaching, it can slowly choke joy, weaken energy, and make a home feel heavy without anyone understanding why. And the surprising part is this: it is not a loud color, not a wild color, not even a dramatic color. It is a color many people trust. But stay with me, because before we uncover that color, you need to know the 7 colors said to awaken blessing, peace, abundance, healing, and sacred joy inside a Jewish home. This is not just decoration talk. This is about atmosphere, frequency, intention, the unseen feeling in a room the second you walk in. So do not skip ahead, because the last part changes how you see your entire space, and one small shift may completely change the energy of your home. If this speaks to something deep inside you, keep listening, because what comes next may explain why some rooms feel alive and others quietly pull the life out of you. In Jewish mystical thought, color is never just color. It is signal. It is mood. It is movement. Every shade around you is speaking, even when the room is silent. Your walls speak. Your curtains speak. The art on your wall speaks. The tones in your bedroom, your kitchen, your hallway, all of them shape emotion, memory, expectation, and spiritual atmosphere. Ancient teachings explain that each color reflects a different kind of spiritual force, and when the wrong energy fills the home, the flow of blessing feels blocked, like something good is trying to enter but keeps stopping at the door. You may think you are just choosing what looks nice, but on a deeper level, you may be building an atmosphere of openness or one of tension, hope or heaviness, clarity or confusion. That is why intention matters. In Jewish tradition, speech matters too. Words carry force. What you say in your home settles into the air of that home. So as you hear this, look around your space in your mind. Picture the rooms. Picture the tones. Ask yourself what your home feels like when you wake up, when you pray, when you eat, when your family gathers, when you are alone at night. Does it feel light, calm, alive, welcoming? Or dim, stuck, closed, and cold in ways you cannot explain? Keep watching, because once you understand these colors, you may never look at your home the same way again. The first sacred color is white, and its power is simple but deep. White speaks of purity, cleansing, and a new beginning. It carries the feeling of starting again without the dirt of yesterday still clinging to your spirit. In Jewish life, white is linked with holiness, return, and spiritual clarity. It feels open. It feels clean. It feels like room for mercy. On the deepest level, white represents possibility, a blank space where new blessing can be written. That is why white works so strongly in entryways, near sacred objects, on a Shabbat table, in linens, candles, and soft details that make a room breathe instead of collapse inward. A heavy room can feel mentally crowded even when it is tidy, but white breaks that pressure. It creates air. It creates pause. It tells the soul you can begin again here. If a home has felt clogged with old stress, old disappointment, or lingering sadness, white can act like a reset. Not in a cold or empty way, but in a quiet, clean way that says the past does not own this room anymore. A white candle, a white cloth, a cream wool, a simple white piece of art, these can shift more than appearance. They can make space for a new emotional story. And here is the key: do not use white like a hospital. Use it with warmth. Let it feel soft, gentle, and living. Because the goal is not emptiness, the goal is openness. And that difference changes everything. The second color is blue, especially soft, rich, sacred blue. In Jewish tradition, blue has long carried the feeling of heaven, faith, thoughtfulness, and calm trust. It pulls the eyes upward. It slows the breath. It cools panic. It creates mental distance from noise. There is a reason blue feels different from most colors. It can hold emotion without inflaming it. It can steady a room without making it lifeless. If white opens the door, blue helps the soul settle after it enters. This is a powerful color for bedrooms, study corners, reading spaces, prayer corners, or any room where decisions are made and difficult conversations happen. When a home feels loud, blue can help restore listening. When the mind feels scattered, blue can gather it. When stress fills the air, blue can soften the edges. This is not fantasy. Anyone who has walked into a peaceful room and instantly felt lighter already knows that atmosphere is real. Blue supports wisdom, reflection, patience, and emotional cooling. If your family has been speaking over each other instead of to each other, if tension rises too fast, if anxiety has become normal, blue can become a quiet anchor inside the home. Not icy blue, not sterile blue, but living blue, gentle blue, the kind that feels like sky after rain or still water at dusk. And stay with me, because the next color carries a very different force. One brings calm. The next one brings value, dignity, and the feeling that blessing is allowed to stay. Gold carries the feeling of honor, beauty, endurance, and abundance. It is warm, rich, and full without needing to shout. In sacred Jewish memory, gold is tied to holiness, offering radiance and the visible reflection of something precious. Gold does not feel ordinary. It reminds the eye that some things are meant to be treasured. In the home, gold can support the energy of provision, gratitude, dignity, and joy that lasts. This is especially powerful in the kitchen and dining area because food in Jewish life is never just food. Meals can become moments of blessing. Tables can become places of memory, peace, laughter, prayer, and connection. A touch of gold in that space can signal value and fullness. It does not need to be expensive. A golden tray, a warm metallic bowl, a candle holder catching evening light, a spoon, a frame, a detail on the table. The point is not luxury. The point is resonance. Gold tells the room that blessing is not something distant. It can live here. It can gather here. It can multiply here. When used with care, gold also reminds people of their own worth. Not pride, not ego, worth. The kind that says this home matters, this family matters, this table matters, this life matters. And if a space has started to feel dry, tired, underfed in spirit, a little gold can wake up warmth that had gone quiet. Do not overdo it. Too much gold can become performance, but one thoughtful touch can make a room feel honored. And now we move into a color with more fire, more pulse, and more life. This one changes the emotional temperature fast. Red, when used wisely, is not chaos. It is life force. It is courage. It is heart. It is the push to act when everything in you wants to stay numb. In Jewish symbolism, red carries strength, vitality, boundaries, and the energy that keeps love from going flat. It connects to blood, to earth, to passion, to movement, to the force that says life is not meant to be lived half asleep. That is why a small amount of red can transform a tired room. If a relationship has lost spark, if a couple feels more like managers than partners, if a home feels emotionally dull, red can wake up feeling that had gone dormant. A deep red pillow, a strong piece of art, a vase, a table detail, candles lit with intention. Red does not need to dominate. In fact, too much can overwhelm. But the right amount can bring pulse back into the room. It says, live here, care here, show up here. It supports action, courage, and the willingness to protect what matters. Red also has a way of pulling people out of emotional sleep. If a home has become overly muted, overly careful, overly drained, a touch of red can reintroduce desire, urgency, and warmth. Used well, it does not create conflict. It restores healthy fire. It reminds the people inside the home that love should still feel alive, that commitment should still feel active, that family life should not become gray routine with no heart left inside it. And that leads perfectly into the next color, because after fire comes growth, and after passion comes the slow, strong miracle of renewal. Green is the color of healing, growth, renewal, and steady life that refuses to quit. It is the color of leaves after storm, of branches returning after winter, of the world saying yes to life again. In Jewish thought, green carries the feeling of living strength, endurance, and recovery. It does not rush. It rises. That is why green is so powerful in a home that feels tired, discouraged, or stuck in a long season of waiting. Green says growth is still happening even if you cannot see all of it yet. This is one reason living plants can change a room so dramatically. They do more than decorate. They breathe. They remind the eye and the nervous system that life is active here. A healthy green plant near a window, in a workspace, in a corner that once felt dead, can shift the emotional story of that space. It can make a home office feel hopeful again. It can make a quiet room feel less abandoned. It can soften the hard edges of a modern interior and bring it back into contact with life. Green is also deeply supportive for people rebuilding after disappointment, loss, burnout, or delay. It does not scream for attention. It quietly proves that renewal is possible. If you want to extend the strength of this color, combine green with care and ritual. Water the plant with gratitude. Clean the leaves. Let the act itself become a reminder that what is cared for grows. And do not go anywhere, because the next color carries one of the deepest spiritual tones of all. It is royal, mysterious, and powerful in a way that can completely change the atmosphere of prayer, rest, and inner connection. Purple sits between earth and heaven. It carries depth, mystery, dignity, and the feeling that the visible world is not the whole story. In Jewish sacred imagery, purple is tied to holiness, elevated service, and the meeting point between the physical and the spiritual. It holds both fire and calm, both blood and sky, both longing and stillness. That is why purple can feel so powerful in a room meant for prayer, reflection, sleep, or inner quiet. It does not behave like cheerful color. It behaves like meaningful color. A deep purple throw, a soft violet accent, a rich plum textile, a candle, a corner detail. These can make a room feel inward, protected, and spiritually charged without becoming dark. Purple can support intuition, deeper focus, and that strange but real sense that a room is holding more than furniture. It is especially helpful for people who feel spiritually scattered, emotionally unprotected, or disconnected from inner stillness. In a bedroom, it can support rest that feels protected. In a prayer corner, it can support concentration and sincerity. In a study area, it can add seriousness and depth. The key is balance. Purple should feel noble, not heavy, sacred, not gloomy. When used with good light and warmth, it creates a bridge between daily life and deeper awareness. And now we come to a color people instantly recognize in Jewish home life, even if they have never thought deeply about it before. It is the color of candle glow, welcome, joy, gathering, and the kind of light that makes strangers feel like family the moment they walk through the door. Warm yellow and amber tones bring joy, welcome, clarity, and holy warmth into a home. This is the color of flame, of evening light, of candles before rest, of a table glowing while voices gather around it. It feels human. It feels alive. It feels like someone is home, and not just physically home, but emotionally present. In Jewish life, light is never a small thing. Light means blessing, guidance, hope, protection, and the refusal to let darkness become the final mood of the room. That is why soft amber lamps, warm yellow touches, golden light in entryways, dining spaces, and living rooms can completely transform a house that once felt cold or distant. These colors support joy, learning, creativity, conversation, and hospitality. They make people want to sit longer, talk more, laugh easier. A home with warm light feels less defensive, less shut down, more open to life. And one practical truth matters here. Do not let your home sink into full darkness at night if you can help it. A small warm lamp, a soft glowing corner, a gentle night light. Even a low amber bulb can preserve a thread of warmth that tells the soul it is safe here. In gray seasons of life, this matters more than people realize. Light changes mood. Light changes thought. Light changes behavior. And now that you know the 7 colors that can support blessing, peace, growth, and sacred joy, we need to face the one color that seems harmless but often works in the opposite direction. This next part is the one people remember, so listen very carefully. The color to be deeply cautious with is dark gray. Not every touch of gray, not every stone tone or soft neutral, but dark, dominant gray, especially when it controls whole rooms, large furniture, walls, and spaces already lacking warmth. It has been sold as sleek, sophisticated, modern, and timeless. People call it neutral. Designers praise it, magazines love it, but in a home, especially a Jewish home meant to hold prayer, rest, celebration, family, and spiritual life, dark gray can create a low, slow heaviness that people feel without naming. It can mute emotion. It can flatten energy. It can make a space feel less alive, less hopeful, less awake. In mystical language, gray sits in a troubling middle zone. It is neither the fertile depth of darkness nor the openness of light. It can feel like fog, like emotional dimness, like uncertainty spread across the walls. In Jewish memory, ash, ruin, mourning, and loss carry this muted tone. There is a proper time for grief. There is dignity and sorrow. But you do not want your whole home vibrating at the frequency of mourning every single day. A room where people should laugh, bless, gather, and rest should not feel like it is quietly grieving all the time. That is why dark gray can subtly block warmth, blur clarity, and weaken the natural movement of joy. And if your home already has a lot of it, do not panic, because the answer is not shame. The answer is balance, light, and deliberate correction. Stay with me, because this is where the script becomes practical. If dark gray is already in your home, the goal is not fear. The goal is transformation. Start by breaking its hold with life, warmth, and contrast. Bring in strong living colors that interrupt the fog. Add art with real color, not more muted gray on gray that keeps the room half asleep. Bring in green plants, healthy ones you can actually care for, because living green actively pushes back against stagnant energy. Add warm amber lamps and make sure every gray room is clearly lit, especially in the evening because dim light on dark gray doubles the heaviness. Use blue for calm, gold for warmth, red for pulse, white or cream for breathing space, purple for depth, yellow for welcome. Use texture too. Soft fabrics, natural wood, warm metals, creams, gentle greens, rich blues, warm taupes. Let the room feel inhabited by life again. And then do something powerful. Stand in the middle of the space and choose a new atmosphere for your home. Speak blessing over it. Choose light over dullness, movement over stagnation, warmth over emotional fog. Then act within days, not months. Change one pillow. Add one lamp. Buy one plant. Hang one piece of art with real color. Light one candle each evening for a week. Small actions matter because atmosphere changes through repeated signals. A home does not become a sanctuary by accident. It becomes one through intention, care, and choices repeated over time. So look around your space today and ask one simple question. What in this room is feeding life, and what is draining it? Make one change now. Not someday, now. Because knowledge without action stays interesting, but action turns a house into a place of blessing, warmth, peace, and living light.